Hi, creative friends. This is Freya, and thank you so much for being here. So, I am going to talk a little bit about this book, and it is a very dense, scientific kind of a book. But I do think it's very helpful in the sense of, I know for me, even though I don't work the way he talks about in this book, reading this book and going into it from time to time, because have had it for God, I've had it for a long time. But it helps me see better, it helps me understand better, and it helps me pay attention to things maybe I wouldn't normally pay attention to. But I'm going to get to that in a minute. And I just wanted to show you, like, these are two of the vignettes that I did in my previous video. And I just want to apologize, you guys. My last two videos, it didn't flow from one video to another like it usually does, because what happened is I made a video, it cut out, I made a subsequent video apologizing for the fact that the video cut off, and then I went back and remade the cut off video. So there's a little bit of overlap, and I thought to myself, I don't know if I should post the video, like the one I posted, this morning. Um, and I said, well, there's still some valuable information in there, so I posted it. But anyways, so these are exactly the same in the sense that they have got the same colors, the same composition, etc. But, for me personally, I can tell you that I am loving this one over here, because it's got the numbers. And when I was looking at it, like, why am I drawn to it, it's got the numbers, but the numbers are black against this kind of really warm neutral gray. If those colors were different, and the values were different, I don't think I would like it as much. Like, just say this was black and then the numbers were white. I might like it because of the juxtaposition of the really light values against the really dark values. But yeah, for most other colors, I don't think it would work as well for me. So I'm loving not just the numbers, but the colors of the numbers, the values of the numbers, and how it is, on top of this very warm gray. And I also love this little like moon over here, because other than that, everything is exactly the same. But out of these two, I am loving this one so much more. And somebody else might look at this and they might like this one, or they might not like any of them. So it's very personal, and this is what our visual language is. So I just wanted to show you guys that. But over here, so obviously I'm not going to go into the, like, this is a book, and it's a very, dense book, very, very well done, very well organized. And right off the bat, he, and I think he used to be an art professor, I could be wrong, but he says, painting is governed by a set of fixed natural laws. So basically he equates it to math, like just like 2 + 2 = 4. He says that he found that there are hard rules to painting, and even though there's room for creativity and for people to inject their own voice and all of those things, he believes that, like, painting in and of itself is a science, and there are principles to it, just like with any science. So and he also says talent is a myth. Most people think the ability to paint and draw is some sort of a miraculous gift reserved for a chosen few, but that's not true. Any adult can learn to express himself or herself articulately in paintings. And I do agree with that. I think that, yeah, some people are gifted, obviously, like, the masters. But even they had to work really hard at their craft. And I do think that anybody, can become better at drawing, at painting, and anybody can paint. I took a class a long time ago, and, basically the teacher said, if you can write, then you can draw, you can paint, because you're using the same set of skills to write, that you are to paint. It's just that we continued writing. We learned how to write in like grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and then we continued writing. But for art, we stopped doing art at a certain age, like maybe 7, 8, 9, whatever. A lot of people stop painting and drawing. So that's the only difference, because those are the same skill sets. So I do agree with a lot of what he is saying, but one of the things that this book, and I'm going to clear my desk, you guys. My desk is just such a mess. It's shrinking by the minute. I need a bigger desk. Anyways, I'm just going to move all this stuff so I can open this, but I'm just, like I said, I'm not going to go over, I can't go over the whole book, but I do want to kind of just show you, just talk about a few separate things. So one of the things he said is, he says, you know, when you go to a museum, you're not going to a museum to see apples and oranges. If you want to do that, you go to the market, but you're going there to see a Cézanne, you're going there to see a Chardin, you're going there to see art. And painting is, you know, it's not just replicating what we see. So I do agree with that very much so. And over here, because I was talking about composition, so do you see how, like, even this still life over here, it's a pyramid. And so I just want to, oh my God, let me see here. So can you see, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, you guys. So can you see how that's a still life, but there is a pyramid structure to it, and with the buildings there's a pyramid structure to it. So yeah, composition, you can look at any and you can set up a still life, you can, you know, make your own composition, or you can look in paintings, you can look in magazines, and you can even look in nature, and just look at compositions and just see and try to figure out, like, what composition is this, you know, set up in. It's really going to help you with your own visual language, and it's going to help you recognize composition, how to construct composition, what makes a strong composition, etc. Now, I thought this was very, very interesting, and a long time ago, a teacher, probably a few teachers, did bring this up in class, because I did take a few classes on color and color theory, and color theory can be very, very, very complicated. So this is very interesting, and okay, I'm just going to read it. So the average person can see about 17,000 different colors, but there are only about 130 different artist colors sold. So even if you had a tube of every color that's manufactured, you still couldn't duplicate the range of colors you see in nature. And that's also true for value. The darkest dark you see in nature is a very much darker than the darkest pigment you can buy. So he goes on and on about saying that, but that is absolutely true. So keep that in mind, that, you know, when we are trying to replicate things that we are seeing and different colors, we only have 130 different artist colors. And in nature, there are 17,000 different colors, and actually there might be more, because he's saying the average person can see 17,000 different colors, but I think out in nature, in the real world, there are way more colors than what we can even perceive. That's just what the human eye can perceive. Now, another very important thing he talks about is values, and what he breaks it down is to use the 3 value system. That's where you have a like a black and a white, and you have a midtone, because you can mix the black and the white together to get a midtone. So he calls that a 3 value system, and you can actually, you know, like, I'm just going to bring this up closer here. And so you can really convey form in a very, very convincing way. And once you understand value, so you can even do like these little vignettes over here that I was doing. You can do them just using 2 colors. You can use black and white, or you can use a blue, like a really dark blue, like an ultra, probably maybe even go for a Prussian blue, and a white. And you can just use those 2 different colors, and you can get really into how am I going to use my values. And that's a really interesting exercise to do. So you're just focusing on values, and it's it's just so, I mean, you're going to learn so much. The other thing I wanted to, oh, he does also talk about volume, and volume is like what gives a, like your object, like mass. It gives it that feeling of like weight. And, you know, when you use your values, that's how you convey volume. You use other things as well. You use perspective, you use, you know, the way something, the way the light hits. I mean, there's so many things that go into it, you guys. It's not that, this is what I'm trying to say. Your visual language is not a simple thing. But to convey volume, like there's so many different things that go into it. Perspective is something close, is something far. You know, using your values, using a line. And if you're doing a still life, also, you know, the shadows underneath it are also going to help you with conveying volume. So there's just a lot that goes into it, you guys. It's, yeah. And drawing, of course, drawing. And then he goes into like so much stuff like perspective and style and composition over here, drawing. So this is a really, really good book, you guys. But like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, he approaches it in a very scientific way, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. That's the way artists have been painting for actually, you know, a long time. When you look at recorded history, it's just that, like, I don't think a lot of mixed media artists, well, not that I follow anyways, I don't think they go like into the science of it. Like when I was talking about the color, when he, you know, he was talking about, well, when you put, you know, the green next to a yellow, and it's not, you know, in order to get a true green and a true yellow, like all that stuff, like, okay, I am not going to paint like that. That is just going to scramble up my brain. And when I took these classes on color theory, what I ended up doing, because, you know, that's what the class was, is we mixed neutrals for like until my brain totally got scrambled up. Like we mixed, all we did was mix neutrals for one of the classes I took. And it just, I mean, it's a never ending thing. You know, and that's all we did was we mixed neutrals and we painted with those neutrals that we mixed. We did not use any colors unless they were neutrals, and we mixed them. So yeah, it really kind of, it was really tedious. And I personally do not work like this. I don't paint like this, but I still want to know as much as I can know. And it helps me become aware of things and see things in, in the complex ways that, you know, a painting is constructed, because it's not a simple thing. So when we talk about your visual language, that is not, well, A, B, C, and D. Oh no. And what he doesn't talk about in here is things like, you know, what Jung talks about, which is archetypes and dreams and memories and all of those things. But I think that this is a really good book, and it gives you a very solid foundation in just, you know, the elements of art. And when you know what those elements are, it can make you become more aware of it, and it can help you strengthen your visual language. So anyways, you guys, if you've watched all the way to the end, thank you so much. I hope that this video has been helpful, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.